Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
So in the last class, I told that we'll start with node voltage analysis. But what I thought is one example we'll see of a kind where we'll get four loops or four meshes. How to solve that? Because solving four mesh equations is not so easy. Okay, uh, um, even in calculator or manually, because finding determinant of 4 by 4 matrix is very difficult. Okay, very difficult in the sense it is lengthy. In 3 hour examination time, it cannot be done conveniently. Okay, so we'll see one such example, and also this example consists of multiple super meshes. Okay, or the sources having which are common for multiple meshes. Okay, so the example is determine the mesh currents. Okay, we will not do any other circus. We'll simply decently find what are the mesh currents. That's it. Okay, other things we know how to calculate. Okay, uh, and one thing you should all remember is it is not possible for me to solve all the examples. Okay, it is impossible to anybody to solve all the examples that may come under mesh analysis. Okay, or super mesh analysis. There are infinite number of examples. If I simply change the orientation of a source, it will become a new example. Okay, so in the class, what I am doing is, as much as possible, all the different kinds of examples I have taken. The main motto of the class in any course is to understand the fundamentals and applications, how to apply the methods of solution. Okay. Uh, for any faculty, it is not possible to solve all the examples; those are present under that heading. Okay. Now, this is the example of which I have to find the mesh currents. Now, it is evident there are four meshes. Okay, this is solution. I have copied the same example down here with a little bit magnified version. Okay, let this be mesh 1, mesh 2, mesh 3, and mesh 4. Okay, let me name the nodes A, B, C, D, and E. So mesh 1 is ABEA, mesh 2 is BCEB, mesh 3 is CDEC, mesh 4 is uh, ADEA or DAED. Okay, whatever you can call. Okay, now observe first where are all the current sources. See, when we are dealing with the mesh current analysis, first we should observe where the current sources are located. If the current sources are located in perimeter of the mesh without having any common or common existence between the two meshes, then that is the mesh current of that respective mesh. If the current sources are existing between two meshes, then I have to form a super mesh. Okay. So now observe there is a 14 ampere current source between mesh 1 and mesh 2. There is 0.5 Vx current source, which is voltage controlled current source, dependent source between mesh 2 and mesh 3. Now if I consider this 14 ampere current source, I have to combine mesh 1 and mesh 2 and form a super mesh of mesh 1 and 2. But there is one more current source between mesh 2 and mesh 3. Now the super mesh consists of mesh 1, mesh 2 and mesh 3. Okay, the super, I think in one of the quiz example, the last quiz example is of this sort. Okay, you can combine any number of meshes. Okay, now for example, uh, okay, this is a current source. This is a current source. This is a current source. Now this is a voltage source. Okay. Now there are three current source. Okay, in four meshes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you can combine a super mesh. Okay, like this. This is a super mesh. One equation for this complete super mesh, then three equations for each current source. You will get four equations. There are four meshes. Okay, whether we can solve four mesh equations or not, that is the second issue. It is not that in every practical system there are only three meshes where I can solve manually conveniently. In any practical circuit, if you take, there are thousands of meshes. You forget about one or two. There are hundreds and thousands of meshes. So we have computational tools for such problems. That is a different issue. But those computation tool building has to be done based on the principle. So what we are studying in this course is the fundamental principles of analysis. Okay. So now here, if you observe, there is a current source of 14 amps between mesh 1 and 2. There is a current source of 0.5 Vx, dependent one, voltage controlled one, between 2 and 3. So now I can combine mesh 1, mesh 2 and mesh 3, and then I will form a super mesh. Okay. You can, we can write here. Okay. And this part I will keep it for solution. Okay. Here we have common current source of 14 amperes between mesh 1 and mesh 2 and of 0.5 Vx between mesh 2 and mesh 3. Okay. Now we have to combine all the three meshes. Therefore, we combine mesh 1, mesh 2 and mesh 3 to form a super mesh Yeah, what is super mesh? A, B, C, D, E, A. Okay. To form a super mesh, A, B, C, D, E, A. Okay. So we'll show it using A, B, C, D, E, and A. Now this is super mesh. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, A. Now for this super mesh, there is only one equation considering respective mesh currents. That is very much important. Okay, we should never forget that point. This is I1, I2, I3, I4. Now we should see whether we get four equations, three equations or not. It is by default, we will get four equations if there are four meshes. Okay, this is point number one. Now what is second point? Point number two. We have a independent current source of 1 amperes in the perimeter of mesh 4, which is not common to any other meshes. Therefore, The source value of that current source is the current value of mesh 4. Okay. We have an independent current source in mesh 4 which is not common to other meshes. Independent current source of 1 amps, which is not common to other meshes. Therefore, my I4 is equals to 1 amps. The direction of 1 amp source and I4 is same. Both are from D to A in the branch AD. Therefore, my I4 is equals to 1 amps. Okay. So now I need not to apply KVL for one mesh. I need not to solve now 4 mesh equations. Now I will have to solve only 3 mesh equations, which is convenient for me to solve practically manually. Okay. Next. Okay. Now, apply KVL to super mesh. Apply KVL to super mesh. Right? And to apply KVL, I should be now marking the polarities as per the current direction. For I1, this is plus, this is minus. The black marking what Vy is shown across 5.5 ohms is the polarity of Vy. Whereas blue marking what you are seeing is with respect to the direction of current I1. Okay, don't get confused. Now with respect to the direction of I2, it is the polarity. There is no element, passive elements are not there. With respect to direction of I3, this is the polarity. Okay, source polarity is already known, or 12 volts. Okay, now apply KVL to super mesh. Start from A. From A to B, current I1 is flowing in 0.5. Okay, so it is minus 0.5 I1. I1 is, don't worry about the polarity of Vy. We will consider that at the later point. Okay, but now I have to consider the potential drop across 0.5 ohms with respect to the current I1. Okay, so minus 0.5 I1. Now, what is super mesh? Super mesh is A, B, C, D, E, A. Now, from A to B, 0.5 ohms. From B to C, 2 ohms. Okay, minus 2 into I2. The current in 2 ohms is I2, not I1. Then A, B, C, D. From C to D. From C to D, it is a dependent voltage source of value 0.2 Vy. The polarity of this source in such a way that it is opposing the direction of current. That is, there is fall in potential from C to D. Therefore, it is minus 0.2 Vy. Okay, A, B, C, D, C to D, then D to E. D to E is a 2 ohm resistor common between mesh 3 and mesh 4. Okay, so it is minus 2 I3 minus I4. D to E, E to A. Now from E to A, there is a 12 volt voltage source with fall in potential from E to A. Therefore, it is minus 12 is equals to 0. Okay. Now what is Vy? Here, Vy is equals to, Vy is the voltage across 0.5 ohms. Now by observing the polarity of Vy and I1, if I1 has to flow through 0.5 ohms, it will with polarity with blue marking what I have shown. But the polarity of Vy is opposite to that of the flow of passive convention, sign convention. So Vy is minus 0.5 I1. Vy is minus 0.5 I1. If I1 is entering through plus direction of Vy, then it would have been plus 0.5 I1. But it is entering through minus direction of Vy. So with respect to current I1, Vy is a rise in potential. So therefore it is Vy, sorry, not rise in, you don't take in that way. You take with respect to the direction of I1 and the polarity given. Okay. Because it is a passive sign convention. Across register, it will be always a passive sign convention. Where current enters register, that should be positive. Okay. So Vy is equals to minus 0.5 I1. Substitute this in above equation. 0.5 I1 minus 2 I2 minus 0.2 into minus 0.5 I1 minus 2 I3. I will open the bracket here, plus 2 I4. Minus 12 equal to 0. Now here Vy is equal to minus 0.5 I1 and I4 is equals to 1 amperes. Okay, and I4 is equals to minus 1 amperes. Therefore, what is minus 2 I3? Okay, so this will be plus 2 into 1. Okay, I will write this. I will not rewrite this equation. This will be plus 2 into 1. Okay, now what I get here? Or bracket. Okay. I will open this bracket, minus 0.5 I1 minus 2 I2 minus 2 0.2 into 0.5, that is 0.1. It is plus 0.1 I1 minus 2 I3 plus 2 into 1 minus 12 is equals to 0. Okay. So what I get? Minus 0.5 I1 plus 0.1 I1. It is minus 0.4 I1 minus 2 I2 minus 2 I3 is equals to plus 2 minus 12. It is minus 10 is equals to plus 10. This is equation. Okay. So one equation I got for super mesh. Now next I have to apply these equations for current sources. Okay. Observing the current source of 14 amps between mesh 1 and mesh 2. The direction of 14 amps is along the direction of I2. Okay. I will write it here for 14 amps. This is not extra part. Okay. This is the continuation because I have to drag down. I want to avoid that. For 14 amp source, I2 minus I1 is equals to 14. Okay. Or minus I1 plus I2 is equals to 14. Take this as equation 2. Okay. Then for there is one more current source between mesh 2 and mesh 3. For 0.5 Vx source. This is current source. For 0.5 Vx current source, what I can write? The direction of 0.5 Vx source is along the direction of I3. Okay. Now I can write this as I3 minus I2 is equals to 0.5 Vx. Okay. Now what is Vx? Vx
minus 2 I2.
Vx is the voltage drop across 2 ohms, and in that 2 ohm there is current I2 flowing. Okay, and when I observe the polarity of Vx with respect to I2, again the passive sign convention is negative here. Therefore, it is Vx is equals to minus 2 I2. Vx is equals to minus 2 I2. Okay, therefore it will come now. I will take it down here. Therefore, I3 minus I2 is equals to 0.5 into minus 2 I2. Now I3 minus I2 is equals to 0.5 into 2 is 1 minus I2. These two will cancel. Therefore, I3 is equals to 0. Therefore, I3 is equals to 0. And whenever you get 0 amperes current of mesh value, don't get panic. We may get 0 currents. It doesn't mean that calculations are incorrect. Okay. We may get 0 currents. Don't worry about that. So I3 is equals to 0. Now, I have I4 is equals to 1. I3 is equals to 0. I have one equation in terms of I1, I2, I3. I have another equation in terms of I1 and I2. I cannot solve equation 1 and 2, or I have to put I3 is equals to coefficient of I3 as 0 here. Simple. Substitute I3 is equal to 0 in equation 1. Yes? Substitute I3 is equals to 0 in equation 1. So what I get? Minus 0.41, sorry, 0.4 I1 minus 2 I2 plus 0 is equals to 10. Now this is equation 3. Now observe equation 2 and equation 3. Both are in I1 and I2. Equation 1 is in terms of I1, I2. Equation 3 is in terms of I1, I2. Now if I solve equation 1 and 2 and 3, I get value of I1 and I2. I3 and I4 I know already. So that is the solution. Okay. Solve equation 2 and 3 for I1 and I2. Yeah. Substitute and please tell me what is I1, what is I2. So I1 is equals to I2 is equals to I3 I know already. I3 is 0. I4 I know it is 1 amperes. What is I1? Gayatri is there?
So 23.7.
No. Others?
Minus 15.83.
What is I2 then?
Minus
Minus
1.83.
1.83.
All are getting same?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Minus 15.83
83 amps.
and I2 is
Minus 1.83 amps.
yeah, somebody is humming the song. We'll keep a separate session for recreational activities. Let us finish the class. All are getting same answers? All are getting same answers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir.
There is continuous disconnection of the internet here. Sometimes the power is getting lost. Okay. So any doubts in this example?
No, sir.
Okay. So what you have to do whenever you get mesh analysis is first check how many number of meshes are there. Okay. If there are more than 3 number of meshes in the example, check whether you can reduce any mesh to make it 3 mesh circuit, because in exam you cannot solve 4 mesh circuit. 4 by 4 equations you cannot solve. Okay. Also check if there are any source conversions possible. Okay. In mesh current analysis, if there are voltage sources, okay, if you can convert current sources into voltage sources, you do that, because by this you will be reducing one mesh. Okay. In mesh circuit analysis, what you do, first observe the number of meshes. If the number of meshes are more than 3, then observe whether there is any possibility of converting a current source into a voltage source. Okay. After doing this, then check whether there are any current sources, those are existing in common between any two meshes. Okay. Those are existing in common between any two meshes. Then if there are, you have to apply super mesh. If there are not, current sources of that particular mesh, current will be of that source value. Okay. Then you have to solve the equations. Like I told in the previous class, when you solve mesh current equations in examination, main examination, don't simply write 3 equations by inspection method, though you know that how to write perfectly. So show this kind of substitution or element by element KVL equation. Then at least for one current, okay, let's say for I1, you show some substitution, okay, of I1 using Cramer's rule. Then you can write similarly and find what is I2 and I3. Okay, this will fetch you full marks. Though your answers will be correct, if it is of 10 marks example, it will not fetch you full marks, because marks are given for efforts also to get the result. Okay, that is one more thing what evaluators will expect. Okay, so this is the end of mesh current analysis. Okay, this is the end of mesh current analysis. Next we'll move to node voltage analysis. Okay. Next we'll move to node voltage analysis. Okay. So we know what is node. Okay. You know what is node. Okay. Node voltage analysis. So what is node in an electric circuit?
It is a junction where more than two branches meet.
Yes, a point or junction, okay, where more than two branches meet. Okay. If I take a simple circuit, if you take this circuit, there are number of branches. Okay. All the points where more than two branches meet is a node. This is not a node, okay, because it is a corner. Now here this is node A, B, C, D. Okay, all the points where I am marking are the points where more than two branches meet. Is it? Okay. So this is a node. We know that as per the equilibrium equation using Kirchhoff's current law, current will never exist at a node. The algebraic sum of all the current at a node is zero. That is KVL. Okay. So I cannot apply voltage equation to node. Now what should I do? I should apply current equation here. Okay. We know that at a particular node, currents are entering and leaving. At a particular node, currents are entering and leaving. And what is node voltage? There is a lot of confusion or misconception. What is the voltage at a particular point? Is it the voltage across the element or is it the voltage across the node? What it is? We don't know about those things. Okay, we have a little confusion about those things here. Now, if you take a simple connection, I will take this connection now. A simple circuit. Let us not worry what are the values. Let this be R1, R2 and R3. Let this be the voltage of node, say Vn. Now, what is the voltage across this? What is the voltage at this Vn? Voltage at this Vn is the voltage across R2, or voltage at this Vn is the voltage of, say, V minus of R1. So I can write Vn is equals to, suppose this is ground. Vn is equals to, I can write V minus, let this be I1 R1. Do you agree? Yes, it is not only with this particular circuit. There is a effect of second source on Vn. There is effect of second source Vn. Okay. Plus or minus. Okay. Let this be I. Okay. Plus or minus I into R3. Okay. Or Vn is equals to, let this be I2. It is I2 into R2. Okay. In any way, I can write the voltage Vn. That is node voltage. But most generally, the voltage across this element R2 is nothing but Vn. Both are same. It is very simple to find it. Okay, it is very simple to find it. Now, using mesh analysis method, I can find node voltages also. But to do that, I need to first find what are the branch currents. Okay. If you want to find the node voltage here in this example, then this node voltage, okay, is the effective value of all the voltage across this all four branches. Or if you want to take any other example, yeah. Now if I want to find the node voltage here, okay, node voltage here at C, then the voltage between C and F is nothing but node voltage C, assuming F is at ground. Assuming F is at ground. Okay. So in node voltage analysis, one thing we should be keeping in mind that first I should be observing all the number of nodes available in the circuit. Then out of all the nodes, one node has to be declared as a reference node. Okay. So in node voltage analysis, we will divide the number of nodes into two: principal nodes and reference node. Okay, principal nodes and reference node. So principal nodes are those nodes in the circuit where here we apply KCL. Reference node is that node, okay? Reference node is that node with respect to which other node voltages are taken. Other node, that is principal node. Okay, with respect to which other node or principal node voltages are taken. So when I say voltage, okay, when I say voltage, this is what? Potential difference. Is it? What is potential difference? Difference in potential between 2 points. Okay, difference in potential between 2 points. So what I will do here is, in the node voltage analysis, once I recognize all the number of nodes, then one node I will be declaring as a reference node. I have to do this without doing without considering a reference node in the circuit or a network given. I cannot proceed with the analysis. Okay. So here in node voltage analysis, here in node voltage analysis, one node is taken as a reference node. Okay, reference node. Then what is the potential of this reference node? Okay, reference node, potential of which is 0 or ground potential. Potential of which is 0 or ground potential. Okay, if you take any circuit analysis of a practical network, you should consider ground potential. What is generally the ground potential is? Practically, what is the ground potential value? What should be the value of ground potential?
Zero. Zero.
Zero it should be. But what will be the ground potential practically? Because there were no exams of second semester, you did not open basic electrical textbook. If you do the same for third sem, entire engineering you will be answerless. Okay, practically ground potential will be of 0 to 5 volts. Okay, it should be 0 to 5 volts. It should not be more than that. Okay, ground potential is taken generally 0 to 5 volts. All of us, we have earthing in our house. Okay, you have earthing in your house. A thick GI wire is buried out of your house or side by your house in the ground using thick GI pipe. That is called earthing point. And if you check the potential of that point, that will be 0 to 5 volts. This is practical. Okay. For large electrical installation applications. But for small electric circuits like what you see in your labs, AEC lab, you build the circuit, there we take ground potential to be 0. Okay, generally it will be 0. So for my analysis, the voltage, the potential of reference node is always taken to be 0. It is ground potential. Then, which should be recognized as reference node? That is one more question. Arbitrarily, I cannot choose any node as reference node. Arbitrarily, I cannot choose any node as reference node. Which should be chosen as reference node? Okay. Reference node should be one with maximum number of branches connected. Okay, reference node should be one with maximum number of branches connected. Okay. If I choose a reference node or a node which is having maximum number of branches connected to it, then it will be very easy to write the node equations. Okay, node equations by applying KCL to the nodes. Okay, or this is a hint. Okay, whatever I am writing in the bracket, or node with negative terminal of battery. In DC we can recognize, in AC I can't recognize this. Node with negative terminal of battery connected. Okay. Now I will take a small general circuit and we'll do this. But there are number of steps what we have to do. Okay. So we will see what is the procedure. Procedure or step. So first point. Okay. One thing is the advantage of node voltage analysis over mesh current analysis is it is applicable for non-planar circuits also. Okay. Applicable for, here I can write, applicable for non-planar circuits. Okay. Mesh current analysis is applicable only for planar circuits. If there are two crossing branches over each other, okay, then I cannot apply mesh current analysis in such cases. But whereas node voltage analysis can be applied for non-planar circuits also. So non-planar circuit is one which having crossing branches, okay, crossover branches. Then I cannot apply mesh current, but I can apply node voltage. Okay. So first step in the node voltage analysis is uh, passive elements in series with ideal current source and in parallel with ideal voltage source are neglected. Are neglected. Okay. So first thing is, if there are any series elements in current with current source and parallel passive elements in with voltage source, ideal sources, we have to neglect it. Second, all nodes are identified and one node is taken as reference node. One node is taken as a reference node. Okay, a reference node. Okay, we know that with the node with maximum number of branches connected is taken as reference node. Okay, and that I will not repeat it here. Third point. Okay, assign other nodes the voltages V1, V2, V3, so on. See, like we recognized meshes first and then we assigned mesh currents and we got equations in terms of mesh currents and we solved them. We are doing that with node voltages. Assign other nodes. Okay, other nodes, the voltages as V1, V2, V3 depending upon number of nodes. There are two nodes, V1, V2, three nodes, V1, V2, V3, four nodes, V1, V2, V3, V4, so on. Okay. Then apply KCL, apply KCL at each node. Yeah, to apply KCL, I should know the branch currents, is it? To apply KCL, I should be knowing the direction of branch currents. So apply KCL at each node by assuming or assigning arbitrary branch currents okay, arbitrary branch currents. Okay. Apply KCL at each node by assuming or assigning arbitrary branch currents. Okay. And solve, okay, or before that, okay, and write branch currents terms of voltages and impedance or resistance. Using Ohm's law, you will get to know. Okay, there is nothing much here. Only the steps are lengthier, it appears. Using Ohm's law, okay, in terms of node voltages. In terms of node voltages and impedance using Ohm's law, okay, and solve for node voltages using Cramer's rule. Node voltages using Cramer's rule. Okay, so this is the procedure for solving the what we can say node voltages. Okay, for solving the node voltages. Then there are some hints given here. You can take it as a note. Okay, note. Okay, first note is if possible, convert voltage sources into equivalent current source. I will tell you what is the advantage of this point when we solve the example. Okay. Second point. Okay. One convention we have to follow here. Current entering node are positive and leaving node are negative. Branch currents, because we are assigning some branch currents, so I should find first decide the convention. Okay, direction. Branch currents entering the node are taken positive and leaving the node are taken negative. Okay, so with this convention, now we have to follow the node voltage analysis. Okay, I will take a simple circuit. Very simple circuit this is. Okay, a simple two loop circuit. Okay, now let this be R1, R2 and R3. Let this be V1, let this be V2. Okay, now how many nodes are there in the circuit?
One.
How many nodes are there? Why one? What about this then? Is it not a node where three branches are meeting?
Yes, sir.
So first I should count the number of nodes. Okay. First I should count the number of nodes. Then out of all those nodes, I should recognize one node which is with more number of branches connected. Then I have to declare that node as reference. So I have node 1 and node 2. Okay, I have node 1 and node 2 here. Okay. Then I will tell you how to only, what we will do is, What is the time? 12:51. Okay. This part we will look into in the afternoon class because it takes some explanation. It may take more than 10-15 minutes. Okay. We have class at afternoon. Okay. We will continue this part in afternoon class.